Well, can I ask this? When you first started to sell out the comedy clubs for a weekend,
Yeah.
in your mind, were you like, oh, I've made it? Like, this is the epitome of what I needed to be in my career?
I was so excited that was happening, right? Like I was like, I can't believe this is happening. I'm like 34, 35 or something. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm finally getting like, like a check that you're like, oh, I can actually do something with this. I think I was like you, where I was like, book it all, like book everything.
Yeah.
And I was also doing the thing where I would go book you learn that like agents hate booking one-nighters like at clubs and stuff. They're like, just do the weekend. But sometimes I would be like, yo, this is like fucking Lafayette.
Yeah.
Like I go, just give me one night. And they would go like, nah, they don't want to do it. And you realize why, because the club goes, we don't want them for a night. We want them for like 3 nights.
Yeah.
But I would insist, like, I want to do that. And then I go on the next night, put me in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Yeah, route it all together.
And they were like, what? Because I was like, I can get 100% or close to it of all these one-nighters and route together this week that makes it worth it. And then they go, oh, it becomes undeniable because you go, it all worked.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it at first. They just want you to, because the club goes, put them here, Cleveland, 3 nights, 6 shows.
He's here for the weekend.
That's it. That's all they want to do. It's like, it's easier for them, right?
Yeah.
That if you do one night, then who are we going to get for the other night? So it's because this whole thing. But like, it was like this gradual thing. And then after the rock clubs tour, I did another special. It comes out, and then I'm moving into small theaters. At the same time for that second special, I remember I ran into Ali Wong, and her first special came out, which was a monster special. Monster special. It did bananas numbers. And so she went from, I'm not selling tickets. And I didn't realize that at first. She was like, hey, like, can I ask you some questions? I was like, yeah. I was like, so here's what's going to happen. Because I'm going from my experience. I was like, you'll probably start to like sell out clubs, and then you move into, like maybe like theaters. And she's like, yeah, I'm doing like Union Hall in New York. I was like, oh, that's great. She's like, I'm doing like 9 shows there.
Jesus
I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't think that we should, I'm not the person to give you advice. I think we have a different thing going on. I was like, what the fuck? She was like, yeah.
Dude, she exploded, man.
Exploded. I mean,
now she's up for like multiple Emmys for her new show.
I mean,
it's insane.
Yeah. And her, people don't know that, like, so Allie she's open about it, so I'm not revealing. So she doesn't like huge venues.
Really?
No. So like, she could do like a bunch of arenas. When she did San Francisco, which is her hometown, she, they were like, hey, do the Oracle Arena. She was like, fuck no. She did, the Masonic. It's an awesome theater. She did 19 there.
19?
Yeah. Or like in LA.
Too many.
I know. She's like, no, she just parks. She's just like, I'll just take the family and hang out there for 3 weeks.
Jesus. Well, that's I guess if you're just using it as a
but
residency, you can space it out. Did she also 19 in a row?
I mean, like over the course of like probably a few days off. Wiltern in LA, great venue. 14, 15, yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, you're like, just do the fucking Staples. And she's like, no, because she doesn't like the show, which I get. Like she's like, she's done big ones. She's like, she doesn't even like 5,000 seaters. She's like,
see, I like the both extremes. I like a comedy club, and I like the bigger arenas. The in between is not my comfort zone for sure, because it's just intimate enough that people will still yell out shit. In my experience, the bigger theaters, like a 5, 6, 7,000 one, is big enough that nobody wants to look fucking stupid by trying to yell out and ruin the show. Or they know they're so far away, they don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
And comedy clubs, I like it because it's so intimate that like I can dive into some crowd work if I really want to do it.
Yeah. So okay, we got a little sidetracked.
Sorry.
No. So this is like less than a year. What are you feeling like with going from I'm making $150 to fly for a one-nighter to everybody knows your name, everybody's saying it, you announce a tour that sells out in 48 hours. I mean, you're turning down attitude. Like, what does it feel like?
It feels fucking exhausting, to be honest. It's the first time in my life that I ever had to realize, like, be careful what you wish for.
Right.
Because the reality can be so much harder than what you think your dream scenario is going to be.
Sure.
It doesn't feel real at all. It feels like I'm getting a lucky experience.
Right.
Which sucks a little bit. Like, I definitely don't get to enjoy it as much as I feel like I should be.
You're not, like, sitting in it yet, though,
No,
too.
it doesn't feel like... All of my friends are like, dude, you did the thing.
Yeah.
You made it.
Yeah.
As long as you don't fuck up,
right,
you're not gonna have to worry about money for the rest of your life. You're gonna be fine.
It's pretty crazy.
You'll be able to at least do comedy clubs for the rest of your life, no matter how bad it goes.
It's kind of, I think about that all the time.
Really?
All the time. I mean, like, I told my agent, I'm like, if I can stay, because I know that, like, the upper end of it, which is like the arena stuff that I'm doing, is a window. Like, you don't do arenas for 20 years. It's a window.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I get to do it a couple cycles, like a couple tours. I'm like, if I can stay in theaters for the rest of my career, meaning I'm like 60 and I call them and I go, hey, can you book like these theater markets?
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a fucking 1,200 seat or something. Like, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, of course.
Like, that would be amazing.
Yeah, you can't stay at the top forever. Is also another thing we were talking about off air. Ralphie May would always say to me all the time. He used to say, he used to reference Dane Cook all the time. He used to say, like, you can't live at the mountaintop forever.
No.
Eventually, you do have to go down, and that's why you have to be nice to everybody you meet on the way up. That's why you
true.
have to be grateful for all the experiences you have on the way up, and try to enjoy it because, yeah, exactly. It's that moment is only for a window. You're not going to be there forever.
I mean, some windows obviously last longer.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, I'm super grateful just to have experienced what I've experienced and be able to work at that level. But, part of your brain is also like, oh yeah, like even, like a Kevin Hart stopped doing 2 arena shows.
Yeah.
He does 1.
Yeah.
And you go like, oh, but it's like, that's a reduction in his workload and all, like.
Well, quality of life I've learned has become like way more
The fact
important.
that this just happened for you and you're this young and you were able to go, I'm turning down one of these added show requests says like, it's a very wise thing that you're able to do at this stage.
Well, I've been so lucky to get so much good advice. Like I was with Chappelle in Yellow Springs at his summer camp that he does out there, and we were talking about my tour, and he was just like he was giving so many kind words. And one thing he did say in all the tour dates we had is he said, "Remember, pigs get slaughtered." He goes, "You don't have to do everything all right now." He goes, "If this is going to be your longevity, you have to take care of yourself and do it when you need it." He goes, if you can do 20 theater shows, you can do 20 6 months from now. You can do 10 now, 10 6 months from now.
But none of us want to hear that when it's said
to
us
of course.
The first time. I was the same way. Everybody said the same thing. Here's how bad it is. I was saying that to other people. I was like, man, you fucking pigs get slaughtered. And then I would sign up for the opposite.
Oh, you fuck.
Yeah, because like it's so hard to like here's the thing, they get you too, dude. Like they get you. Meaning like you have your like, this is what I'm doing. And it's just like the offers come to you and you're just like, I remember like what they'll do too is they work back a week.
Yeah.
So like they're like, how about Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like Nashville, Charlotte, Raleigh. And you're like, that sounds like a great week. And then they go, Wednesday. There's
Greensboro's got a small arena right down the street.
Right there. You want to do Wednesday?
That's exactly
and you're like,
how it works.
Yeah, you go, yeah. And then they go, Tuesday. Richmond is like not far from Greensboro. And you go, okay. And then
now you have a Monday off.
And then they go, Monday. And so you go, oh. And then you look and you're like, oh, I've done that 10 times now?
Yeah.
So now you're just doing full weeks.
Bert and Tom and Bert. One goes topless while the other wears a shirt. Tom tells stories and Bert's the machine. There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep it clean. Here's what we call 2 bears, 1 cave.